Hello, my name is Joseph Rodriguez. I'm here to discuss questions for the murders in the Rue Morgue and the Purloined Letter. Starting with the question, what are some of the tropes that you see established here that serve the idea of Gothic fiction? So, in the murders of the Rue Morgue, um, there's a lot of mysterious elements, like the decaying or the ruined settings. There's a lot of descriptive language in the text to let the reader imagine those horrible environments and the actions. Um, Dupin, the detective, and the narrator, they rent this decrepit, grotesque mansion, calling to the mind those gothic landscapes of Edgar Allan Poe's other horror stories. And then that strange behavior hints at the creepy things that reference to quote true darkness or ghastliness and the sorry, this always it's weird to say, ghastliness and the feeblest of rays. And another quote, wild lights and shadows. And another quote, infinity of mental excitement, calling some really um, crazy imagery from Poe's horror stories. And those elements of Gothic fiction are really evident in this since it's so graphic and bloody. And the descriptions of those crime scenes in the body, for example, this is another quote from that story. The corpse of the daughter, head downward, was dragged therefrom, it having been thus forced up the narrow aperture for a considerable distance. That's really descriptive. And then it says in the next sentence, the body was quite warm. A few sentences later, it says, where lay the corpse of the old lady, with her throat so entirely cut, upon an attempt to raise her, the head fell off. The body, as well as the head, was fearfully mutilated. The former so much so as scarcely to retain any semblance of humanity. The murders in the Rue Morgue, it even introduces a locked room mystery for the first time, mystery being a Gothic theme. In locked room mysteries, it seems that there's no possible way for the perpetrator to have gotten in or out of the locked room in which the murder or the other crime was committed. So now, to discuss in the Purloined Letters, the question being, what might this notion of being hidden in plain sight teach us about the particular characters in the story, and what it might say about the perception and expectations more generally? So first, that hiding in plain sight teaches us about the fallibility of human perception. And this story, it's a powerful illustration of how our expectations and our preconceived notions shape our reality, not just what our reality actually is around us. And it blinds us to what's obvious, because we expect mysteries to be complex and hidden and complicated. So when that solution is simple and visible, we're failing to see it. And then there's also this idea that there are limitations to processes and narrow thinking because the prefects, basically the police's narrow, systematic, and like mathematical method of thinking, contrasted with Dupin's more imaginative and broader approach to just finding the answers. It suggests how those pre pre-subscribed rules are limiting to intuition and creative thought and adaptation because the police didn't find the letter and the detective did. So therefore, the prefect representing that official law enforcement, he's confined to his own methods, and he assumes the letter must be hidden in a clever, concealed location. But only until the detective comes in a broad approach, does it reveal that the mystery wasn't a mystery at all, therefore technically being a subversion of your expectations, which is super in line with Gothic literature. Therefore, the murders of Rue Morgue represent Gothic literature by being descriptive and grotesque, and the Purloined Letters reveal how thinking by the book hinders creative thinking, which people can even take advantage of. Let me know if in your responses if you agree or disagree with anything I said, and maybe share some of the most disgusting language you found in any of those stories. If you want to deepen the conversation, you can connect with anything I said to what you might have personally noticed in the stories. So thank you. I'll be looking out for your responses.